But yeah, you weren't following. I had one swipe at 20,000 that ended up like 1 inch short. I needed I don't know if you were following it, but I caught a home run for Bregman, and then I also had Tucker. And if Tucker hits a home run, I win the slam on FanDuel, and he hit it all the way to the wall in like the deepest stadium in the world, and then the guy caught it right at the wall. So those are baseball sweats. Those are kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, that's
and so I basically broke about even in the baseball as a result of that, at least. And then I won a stupid tennis. I won stupid. Excuse me. I won that tennis single entry GPP for 2,000, which was good. And I did play basketball and did not win.
You played basketball. So what happened last night? I saw some things in the chat. Did they pull Jokic at some point or something?
I don't know. I didn't play him.
There must have been. I heard
some whining about something. That's for sure.
Yeah, no one has the right to whine if you play at all right now. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's absolutely. It's like it's beyond the Wild West. It's like insanity. So if you can try, if you're going to play it, you have to have.
That's what I said. You're just not allowed to complain. That's all.
Yeah. And I think that it's just absolutely.
What I need him to just basically stay on par, and then I want the wind to just come rolling on in for the rest of the afternoon. That's kind of what
yeah, why not?
It's kind of what I need.
It's going to be bunched up at the top at the end,
obviously.
Yeah, but I hear you.
Like I said, I just want to be one of my sweats in the final 3 groups, and that's not a lot to ask. I got him at the lead. I have Neiman lurking. You know what I mean? So there you go.
No, that's incredible, man.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Yeah, I
don't even know about fantasy. I'll know after today.
Yeah. Well, I doubled my money the first night, but I didn't look at anything after like 5:00, so I had no idea till this morning. But it was nice first day to start off like that. Especially like when you get your stack wrong and you get like 7 points from your entire stack and you still win. It's always
like that.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why especially on these kind of slates, people who I'm sorry, but in my opinion, 5-game slates with 1 game that's got weather risks and stuff. I just don't agree with people that say that stacking is the right thing to do on these kinds of slates. When you get down to 4 games, I don't think you should be paying attention almost at all to trying to get a 5-man stack. Now to try to talk about correlation and get a couple 2 or 3-man situations, but there really isn't a whole lot of logic to me in it unless you see one team as being significantly better, which I don't see as being the case. Sort of trying to hit.
Well, that's exactly the point. I mean, you make the point that I was making yesterday in our, I forget was the Roadie video or ours, is that whether you play, whether you are required to play stacks is really a function of slate size, and a 5-game slate, like you said, with 1 game with weather concerns. That's how you want to talk about those weather concerns a little bit, or
Chicago. I mean, I don't know it's the same thing as yesterday. It's going to either be just horrible weather to be at or be in the game with the wind blowing in. And if anybody stacks these games, you're completely doing that wrong. As I pointed out yesterday, look, I know there was some runs scored in that game and there was 2 home runs that were hit, but it's like basically compared to that stadium, everything else is like twice as good a hitter's park as Coors Field. So you're really taking a real just gamble on something. And while teams will score runs, they're going to be less and less from home runs when the weather's 30 degrees and blowing in 15 miles an hour from the outfield. That's more what it's probably going to be today. But the problem is that it brings up an issue with Brandon Woodruff, who would be arguably the top pitcher, depending on which guy you prefer. But the weather is enough, and the Brewers, not with Woodruff, they usually let Woodruff go wild, but I don't know. It's just it's got me a little bit concerned enough to be off of to play Nola and Cole as my main combination. But I think you can go either way. I mean, Sheets, I don't know. It just depends on what risk you're willing to take.
Yeah. So what my main stack, whether it would be by handling or whatever, I was really into it, and this one has weather concerns too. And this is what you're going to get in April, by the way. I mean, it's not really that warm. Because I was really, I was really into playing the White Sox, kind of all over the place. When I say all over the place, I'll let you guys know I'm not playing FanDuel this afternoon. There's just no tournaments
I couldn't get any in there either. I did put my core plays up on SaberSim, but I don't have any in there either. I'm with you. Go ahead.
So all the analysis here is going to be for DraftKings, and
But I'm happy to answer any FanDuel questions because I did go.
Yeah. So I was very much interested in playing the White Sox, and a good amount of it. Now I'm looking at some of the weather. It's cold and probably drizzle. I mean, I'm still going to play, but again, I'm not allowed to complain if it doesn't work out. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm not all that interested in the game anyway, to be honest with you, except for Woodruff. I do like Woodruff, but I think it's a really.
Well, I don't mean the. I meant the White Sox game.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Brewers. I was thinking. My fault. My head is still a little foggy. I think the White Sox game is probably in better shape, and it is their opening day, right? And that's what I was saying to Rody because we had a little call last night, and then we were talking, and I was like, if they're going to postpone an opening day game, they generally do it as early as possible. And almost any other time, if it's the opening day, they're going to get the game in because of all the stuff they put in. And then they have like the honorary first pitch and special things for the fans and all that. So usually if the game is like supposed to start, if it's not like 6 hours before and it's not been postponed, it's probably going to play. That's the way that I would treat this. But I feel more confident in the Detroit game for that reason than I do in the Chicago game. Because Chicago, and as Adam, who's very sharp, points out in the chat, that their teams are only a little over an hour away from each other. It's not that hard to make up a postponed game, but you don't want to go into the season doing it, especially on the first day. Although this for them is the second day, so it's definitely something to look at. Do you want your fans to have a horrible experience, or do you want to? I mean, it's brutal to be in that. Like I've been in that stadium before, not when it's like freezing cold, but you really feel that wind fire through there. It's like. I don't know. It's not a great experience to go through when it's 30 degrees and it's blowing like that and rainy and kind of gross. So C2, who are you playing then, other than the Chicago Detroit situation?
Yeah, so I tried to give it away with my with my username here. I want to play McClanahan.
Yeah, I think he's the chalk. I think it's the chalk play.
But then, like I said, I don't know how chalky that's going to be. So I'm probably going to have in my big buy-in. I am actually going to play Nola and Giolito in my main one, and then Giolito. Basically, I have him right now locked in on DraftKings. That's where I am right now, and. Then Nola, I have about 30%. If I'm playing like 25, 30 lineups in this mess. And then I have a couple of everybody else. And I got like 15% of Eovaldi, like 15% Montas, 15% McClanahan, like I said. I even have 15% of this. I have like 10% Means just for fun. And I got 15% Steele just for fun. But mainly it's Giolito for me.
Yeah, I could definitely get behind the argument for Means, but I personally will side with, look, if the weather is going to be as bad as it is in Detroit, it's still horrible hitting weather in Detroit, horrible hitting weather in Chicago, cold in Philly, cold in New York. Although New York, I'm not as worried about because the stadium.
It's not that cold here, by the way. The Stacey weather forecast disputes the cold weather.
Okay, all right. What does it look like? High 50s, low 60s?
Yeah, that's not cold.
Well, there's only one stadium that's got above average. That's got the normal weather for their stadium. And that's Tampa Bay. So it's kind of hard for me not to. I'm always going to flock that way earlier in the year if I can. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that everybody else's weather is going to be better, and all their stadium factors are not. All the ways people do the lines and everything even aren't entirely built enough into the weather, in my opinion. So I don't know. I just always like to look at that stuff. But I do think the Yankees, the Tampa Bay, and the Baltimore are going to be the most exposure I have. I have no problem playing guys against McClanahan. I really like him as a pitcher. The price is like stupid, but the price is stupid on everybody, and the hitters are priced stupidly as well. So it doesn't matter. And I'll go back to that. I don't see any need to stack, but if you want to stack, I think that it would be Baltimore, New York, I think. But like we always talk about this with Means, and a smaller slate's a little different, but like it's not like this guy ever gets hit hard. We try to do it every time with him, and he doesn't give up any power.
Right.
Every now and then he'll have a tough one, and that's usually facing the best teams in the best hitters park. So when he gets a huge park upgrade. But I'm still taking some shots there. I've been taking a couple Tampa Bay guys. I like Harold Ramirez. On the Yankees side, I really like Donaldson. I think that he's going to have a big year. Obviously, like Judge, Stanton, Hicks is some cheap exposure you can get to get a little mini stack in there, like I'm trying to do. Philadelphia is the other chalky one. And I'm totally cool with it, but I'm probably going to be just using pieces: Real Muto, Schwarber, Harper, those guys, and then mixing them in with my Trey Mancini and Harold Ramirez, Randy Rosarena, those type of guys. So those are basically like all the guys I'm playing. I'm not playing as many lineups as you. It is always frustrating for me because I really like to play sometimes the day slates, but they usually sell out like 2.5 hours before they start, which is like right when I start doing research. And being on the West Coast, it's tough.
Well, that's the thing. Fortunately, again, the way my schedule works out, before I go do my real work or whatever, I try to update like the projections early in the day, like just when I do it. And as soon as I do that, I enter lineups just to reserve them. Right. So that's already, you know what I mean? So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think the Detroit game plays, but the question is, do you want to try to get all your play hitters in a game that is this horrible? And the only problem is like there's not a whole lot of where it is great. I mean, let's just take a look at the real weather in this, because this is 45 degrees, 60% precipitation, winds blowing side to side. It's not going to be. It's a terrible hitting weather. Not as bad as Chicago, but terrible. So Philadelphia is actually not terrible. Like it's 62. And as Sheets says, the Yankees are 60 degrees, but it's also blowing out to center. I just would rather stay away from it. So it doesn't mean that I wouldn't have one player from those games, but I certainly wouldn't stack anything in those games, even on a tiny slate. That's just me.
Yeah.
Did the 22 say Shane McClanahan? Yeah, but the thing is, like, you're not really getting any leverage. You're not really getting any edge by playing him at 6,600 at 50% ownership. You know what I mean?
Nope.
And there's not really like a whole lot of like. It's not like these other guys aren't underpriced as well. I mean, Aaron Nola at 9K, Brandon Woodruff with the weather factor.
Giolito against Detroit with the weather.
Garrett Cole, even though it's Boston, like it's Garrett Cole. Like it's just there's a lot of guys out there that can put up big games. I do think that McClanahan does have like, the price does stand out, but it's not that crazy. You know what I mean? Like that it's crazy if they're going to do it, but they're kind of doing it with everybody is what I'm saying. And for what it's worth, he's got a 5.5K prop. It's not like that's, out of this world for a guy who's 6,600, who they have, kind of babied so far, but he can really pitch. I agree with that. I mean, he's got great stuff. All right. So let's see. What else are we going to talk through, Sheets? I don't have a whole lot else to go through. Guys, I will be live at 6 Eastern. I'll make sure to do the live before any baseball slate with more than 3 games. I will do to start the year out at least. And then I'll get all my stuff updated and added. We're still trying to change some things, so I'll work on that stuff for next week. But Rhodey's picks are up, my plays are up on my core is up on SaberSim for both slates. Sheets, we could talk a little about the late slate if you want to. What do you think? What do we talk about?
I literally haven't looked at a single thing yet.
Then we probably won't talk about it.
I'll be ready. I'll probably be around tonight. Probably I'll try at 6, but very least I'll put up projections. And bear with us, by the way, with the everybody bear with us with the projections and the split slates and the SaberSim and all this stuff. Everybody, everybody's working kind of behind the scenes. Like Evan and Mark are working behind the scenes to make this kind of work. Because remember, this didn't start, especially the projection stuff, with me designing this so that it could run a site. I was doing it for myself,
right? And
I just started sharing them. So trying to figure out a way to do it so that it uploads for the early slate and the matches and then the late slate and all of that without driving me crazy. So we're trying our best to figure it out. And we're also trying our best to figure out, like Bobby was saying, some reasonable expectation of content, about, we can't do every slate. There's no way. We're going to be doing every slate in every sport. Fortunately or unfortunately, the NBA is winding down, so we have to sweat too much that. I mean, look, when the playoffs start in the NBA, we'll have much more.
But I wouldn't phrase it like that at all, though, man, because we are covering every slate. We're with SaberSim. There's every slate's going to get covered.
I just mean like videos and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I'm committing to what I said. I'm not going to miss that. As shitty as I feel, I'm still here to trying to do it right.
Yeah.
So I can commit to that for now. But yeah, we'll have stuff covered for you on every slate, whether or not we have every show live before lock. But I do want to start the season out trying to do everyone.
Yeah.
So we can get some more sort of the same, fun dynamic we have in a much more relaxing situation than it is. And I don't get to enjoy it as much with the NBA because I'm kind of trying to figure out a million different things that are trying to scramble and figure out faster than the sites are updating. It's just,
is that season over yet?
No, they've got to play it again tonight. I'll touch on it later on live.
When is it over?
And like Monday or Tuesday.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man.
But what I was saying is like, but as annoying as the last week of the season is, you're going to get like playoff basketball for a while with like good 4-game slates with everybody playing their starters.
Yeah, where you can actually try to figure things out. Those I'm ready for those, man.
You get like 43 minutes of Devin Booker. You know what I mean? Like playoffs are kind of cool. You thought you get 41 minutes of Pascal Siakam. You know what I mean? Now you get like 44 minutes of Giannis. It's like or whatever. It's like
Yeah. So, no, it's going to be totally. And by the way, that's something people should really pay attention to. I'll get into it when I talk about the basketball slate some other time. So the question was for FanDuel from Dunbar about favorite pitcher. I think I can make a pretty good case for all of them. For the early slate,
I'll just start. I'll say I have Nola the best by a little bit over Cole. And a little bit of Cole, a little bit over Woodruff, and those three kind of stand out for me on FanDuel.
I agree with that, I guess. If I felt 100% and I'm just up keeping an eye on the weather, I probably would have Woodruff right there. Maybe Woodruff number one, but I think you can make an argument for Woodruff or Nola and Cole right there. They're all very similar. Geez, these weather things are crazy, though. I mean, it's 40 degrees in Minnesota later. Like, I'm just looking at some of the later stuff. Oh, man. What happened, by the way, in that game? I didn't look at anything yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to catch up on it yet today. And the LA Houston game, was there scoring or something?
No, just they had a couple home runs at the end. Bregman hit a home run, then Alvarez hit a home run, all in the 8th inning off the bullpen. Valdez had a nice game.
Oh, that's what I was saying. It's like everybody was like, "I love this spot." I'm like, I don't know. I like Valdez.
Valdez had a nice game. What's his name? The other control pitcher had a nice game. Wainwright had a nice game.
Yeah.
Bieber got his work in. He looked okay. He looked fine.
Yeah.
He gave up. He had a tough luck last inning. Cost him the win. But yeah.
Yeah, we got Green Monster talking about the later slate of Toronto. Like Toronto is going to be the team you are going to want to play like every day, and they're going to look like the best play every day. So just keep that in mind. Just
we can't go that long without making some predictions. I mean, we don't have to do it today, but we got.
Yeah, I'm going to have it for next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could say right now.
Maybe by then I'll be able to know who's on some of these teams, so then I'll be able to make some reasonable predictions.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers, White Sox World Series, something like that is what I was leaning towards. I was
looking. The Dodgers end up losing Seager.
Yeah, but they're loaded. They have Freddie Freeman though.
Oh, really?
They're all the teams to make the playoffs. I was looking at today. I think that the Dodgers are 91%. Nobody else is like above 74. It's like crazy, man.
Wow.
And it's like that every year. They're like literally twice the thing.
What do you think this cut line is? 5?
I was thinking 5. I think they're off with the projected 4 because I do think the wind is going to play more of a factor. And it sort of is and isn't.
I'm watching all these guys fall apart on my screen here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sort of going. Some guys have had good days, But yeah, for the most part, I agree with you. You're right. I mean, yeah. Sheets. What do you think the ownership difference between Giolito and Woodruff is? What do you have
on DraftKings?
Yeah.
I think. I have Nola between who and who?
Between Giolito and Woodruff.
Oh, I have Woodruff at like 50% on DraftKings. I have Giolito low owned for some reason. Can't imagine it, but all these early slate projections, especially ownership, are just very untight. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah, and in general, I'm not going to answer until we make Discord private the specifics of these things because we do have it available, and it kind of is messed up to not do that with the Sabres.
Yeah.
Maybe worth a slight boost to control pitchers versus strikeout pitchers when weather is bad, can pitch to contact. Sure. Yeah, it's weird. We're getting into some of the fine points that I think are when you get in the weeds that far. I think we're overreacting a little bit to it. If you're talking about control versus because every pitcher is going to be a little bit different, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that I don't have anything that's ever shown me a correlation between control pitchers and non-control or whatever, wild guys who have high strikeout rates and cold weather. It's just, I don't think we have enough overall information. Also, we didn't used to have games that were played this freaking cold. The global warming, newsflash, guys, it's a real thing. This weather is way different than it used to be. And also the season starts earlier than it used to when we were younger. So a lot of the old data, like I remember that's one of the big arguments I got into with some of the guys is like Wrigley Field can be the greatest hitter's park and the greatest pitcher's park. Just depends on the day. You know what I mean? It's just really hard to say. I don't know. Even the way they tried to build stadiums to shelter things out, it's just no matter what, there's an edge to gain on park factors. But I think that sometimes maybe we overreact to it when it comes to like trying to figure out exactly whether a pitcher is going to have one strikeout every 300 batters more, because that's just not enough of a factor to play it. I don't know. It's a very tough one for me because I don't know how to weigh it. I can tell you when this wind blows in, though, there is some weird things that I've seen before about when the wind blows in, the strikeouts go down a little bit. That's probably worth factoring.
So Max Scherzer is pitching in Washington.
Yep, back there.
I mean,
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. That's the later one.
They're gonna have to drag him off the mound, aren't they?
I don't think he has any. I mean, he won a World Series with them. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's mad. I'm saying he's gonna want to be on that mound. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They sometimes work different to me in those situations. I like Trevor Bauer pitching back in Cleveland would be very different. You know what I mean?
Is he done?
No, he'll be back. I think. I don't know what's going to happen with him, so I don't want to speculate because I don't want him on the team, but he's going to probably end up on the team. All right. I don't know if I have any more else. I'm going to get ready for the afternoon slate and get my picks up for that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, good luck to everybody. Sheets, thanks for jumping on with me early, and I'll see you guys at 6 Eastern.
Sounds good.